This video is going to show you how to calculate the range, the sample, variance, and the standard deviation by hand. So first, here are our data values. We have 9, so our sample size is 9, and it is for a sample. So let's calculate the range, which is your largest value minus your smallest. So here our largest is 18, our smallest is 2, so our range is 16. Next, we will calculate our sample variance, and S squared stands for sample variance. And our formula for the sample variance is the sum, this symbol means the sum of the difference of your data values minus the mean squared divided by n minus 1. Now, when you're working the homework, it's important to note that they use the shortcut formula. I do not use the shortcut formula when I do my examples. I'm going to use the regular formula. You're welcome to use whichever formula you prefer, as long as you know how to show your work for a few of them. And then you can use StatCrunch or Excel if you prefer after that. So back to what we're doing here. The first thing that we need to do is list our values for our xi, which is 2, 18, 6, 10, 8, 15, 9, 3, and 7. And then let's so once we list our data, let's go ahead and calculate our mean. So we could sum these up, and that would be 26, 36, 44, 59, 68, 71, 78 would be our sum of our data values. Okay, now we're going to take the 78, and to get the mean, we're going to do 78 divided by 9, which is 8.6 repeating. Now, to keep this example simple, I'm going to, just so we understand the formula, on this particular example, I'm going to round to 9. Now, when you're working the homework, I'm going to show you how to go into Excel and calculate this and tell you exactly what you need to round to in order to work the homework. But to understand the basic formula, I'm just going to work it and keep the numbers simple. So what we're going to do here is we're going to take our data values and we're going to subtract 9 from it and square it. So we're going to do your xi minus x bar, and we're going to square it. So we're going to do 2 minus 9 squared, 18 minus 9 squared, 6 minus 9 squared. Okay, so I went down and I filled each one out, and then all you're going to do is square it and put that in the next column. So, for example, 2 minus 9 would be -7, but when we square -7, we get 49. So in this column is our answer to this. So 18 minus 9 is 9, and 9 squared is 81. 6 minus 9 is -3, and -3 squared is 9. I'm going to pause it and finish the rest of this column. Okay, once you get your difference between your data values and your mean squared, remember your formula up here says we are going to sum the differences squared. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to add these up, and I'm going to get 217. So now we have done all of the top of the formula, and we need to take the 217 and divide it by n minus 1. So 217 divided by 9 minus 1, because n is 9, would be 8. So now divide 217 by 8, and our variance is 27, and it comes out 0.125. I'm just going to leave that for now. So that would be our variance. Lots of steps there, but understand what the formula means. The symbol, let me go back here. The symbol here, this means sum. And what are we summing? The difference, excise your data points, the difference between your data points and the mean. We're going to take each one and we're going to square it, and then we're going to add those up. And that's how we got the 217. Then we're going to divide it by n minus 1. It's very important in statistics that you try to get a basic understanding of what the formula is telling you. And S squared is your variance. And then the last part is to do our standard deviation. Now remember, the variance is telling you how spread out your data is around the mean. So our variance here is spread out about 27.125 around the mean. So once you get your standard deviation, once you get your variance, then what we have to do to get the standard deviation is take the square root of the variance. So your standard deviation is the formula that we just did, but you put this big square root symbol in front of it. So we just have one more step to get S, which is the standard deviation, is to take the square root of what we got, which is 5, we'll round it to the third decimal place, 5.208 would be your standard deviation. So the only drawback to this is if you don't get the variance right, then you're not going to get the standard deviation right. So yes, it does build. So be sure to really look at it carefully. Try to work a few by hand just for practice. And I'm going to do a video to show you how you can use Excel to get your variance and your standard deviation. Let me know if you have any questions.